Well, hi there. Thanks for finding The Profitable Photographer with Luci Dumas here on YouTube. If you want more, you can just go to any podcast channel and find the show or go to lucidumascoaching.com, Luci with an I, to learn more about me and to listen to shows. And thank you for subscribing, sharing with your friends, and I hope you enjoy. Bye for now.
There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. The author of that quote is unknown, but I love it. Hello there, this is Luci, and I'm delighted that you've tuned in to my next episode of The Highly Profitable Photographer, hoping it's helping you become highly profitable. Guess what? A special offer. If you subscribe and review on iTunes, you will earn a great big virtual hug wherever you are in the world. So thank you for doing that. In case you haven't heard, I'm a business coach for photographers as well as a photographer myself. I would love to chat about how I can help you become more prosperous and confident in your business if you need some help. I also have some news. I'm starting a coaching group in September, and it's all about how to have big sales from warm leads. I would love for you to contact me at luci@lucidumas.com, and I will send you a link to have a quick chat. So I'm super, super honored to have today's guest, Andrew Hellmich. He's the host of an awesome podcast called Photobizx. The rumor is that it's the #1 photography podcast on business, although, Andrew, I am committed to giving you a run for your money with my podcast. I have a lot of catching up to do, I'm sure. How many episodes have you had, Andrew?
I think we're up to 320, 320 something.
Wow. Think about all the lives you've changed.
It's amazing. It still blows me away today that they're receiving the messages that I do.
And all the awesome people that you have on the show. I've been on his show a few times, and he asks really surprising questions that get his guests to share motivational and practical tips that will help you grow. A few other things about Andrew. He is a wedding photographer and a portrait photographer on the Central Coast of NSW, Australia. What is NSW?
That's New South Wales. That's one of our states.
So here in California, we don't know that abbreviation, but I'm sure a lot of you listening do. He's been photographing professionally for over 20 years, and photography has allowed him and his family to have a terrific lifestyle, a home, great schools for his boys, overseas holidays for most years, and who doesn't want this? So welcome, Andrew. Thanks for saying yes.
Thanks, Lucy. I'm looking forward to doing it. It's nice being on the other side of the microphone for a change.
It's scary for me. I have to admit that. Like, I know you're such a great interviewer that I know it's going to be super fun to actually be the one asking you questions.
I'm looking forward to it.
So tell me a little bit. You said you've been a wedding photographer for 20 years, and I assume portrait photography as well.
Yeah, I started with wedding photography, and I had a full-time job. So as the business was growing, it was all focused around weddings. And when I realized that, I really wanted to make this a big part of my life, I went part-time with my full-time job, and that's when we introduced more portraits. I'd already done a few, but then we really went after portraits so that, that we had work during the week and on the weekends. I had a mortgage. I had kids when we started the business. I had one child at a time. And, the expenses don't stop just because you're changing your business or changing your lifestyle. So the income had to be there to keep going, to support the family. So, yeah, so it's really been both. And added to that, I've also been shooting commercial work, and it's usually revolved around people, sometimes products. But weddings has been my primary focus for most of that time.
Is that your favorite, all things being equal?
Look, I would say yes when I was shooting them. I'm slowing down with the weddings now. I've only got one left to shoot, but it's been 20 years. And look, I've absolutely loved shooting the weddings that I have. Obviously, there's sacrifices that you make as a wedding photographer. I miss a lot of things particularly on Saturdays with my kids and my family. But look, I don't begrudge any of my brides and grooms. I loved the fact that I was able to go in there and photograph weddings and get paid to do it and shoot in a style that I wanted to. And yeah, it's been amazing. I would not change a thing.
So what do you love most about photographing a wedding?
I don't think there's many other, well, I guess, look, it's changed now, but at the time when I started, there wasn't many other genres or any other genre where you could be paid to go in and document someone's day, to photograph people, to create portraits, to shoot in a vision and a style that you want to, or that I wanted to, and get paid for that. It was amazing. You know, there was no other real way to do it. I mean, since then, documentary family photography has evolved. Even wedding photography has evolved and changed as well. So there's different styles, different genres of photography have evolved over that time. But when I started, the fact that someone would pay me to spend a day with them and document their day was amazing. I love that.
Mm-hmm. For me, I was a wedding junkie before I was a photographer. And so the 12 years that I did weddings almost exclusively, I was so excited to get up on a Saturday or whatever day of the week and go and get to see the pageantry and the beauty, the emotion, and the challenge. I think the adrenaline is pretty fun for me. Do you get like into that?
I didn't really get an adrenaline rush. I was still nervous turning up to a wedding, 20 years after I started. I still got those butterflies before I went in to see the guys. I generally started at the guys' place. But I think the real attraction for me was creating great images that couples wanted, that they were happy to pay for. You know what? I think it was just the fact that I was a photographer. I mean, it still sounds unrealistic to me when I tell people I'm a photographer. It's such a strange thing to say because I don't feel overly creative. I was never artistic growing up, but I love photography. There's something about photography that really got me as soon as I started. And yeah, to know that I was able to forge out a living, a lifestyle, a great life through photography still amazes me.
I totally know what you're talking about. When I first got a good camera and I could see something and want to photograph it and have it show up and the way that I visioned it, it was just like the heavens opened up. Just, ah. And then when there was
Yes.
I'm going to try to making a living at this. And as I actually made it work. That, yes, it is thrilling. And I'm sure one of the reasons you have your podcast and share everything you can to help people because you want them to have that same feeling.
Yeah, I do. I do. That's if I can help someone else achieve their goals through photography and make a living doing it, that's my goal. And I know for me personally, that without the help of others, I would never have had the business that I did. I wouldn't have had the success that I experienced. And if I can help shortcut that process for other photographers, I'm all about that.
There was a question on Facebook today about if you could do things over again, what would you do? And I stopped and thought about that and shared some things and just chatting with you now. I'd love to know that. If there's two or three things that you would do differently at the start.
Look, that is such a tough question, Lucy, because I really wouldn't change anything that I did because otherwise I wouldn't be where I am now. Some of the things that I would maybe question is one of the things I did was I found and clung to one particular photographer, Jerry Gahonis, in the beginning. Once I saw his work, his style, his marketing, listened to the way he did business, I emulated myself and my business and my photography style on his, and it made a massive impact. Like it really did fast track my progress. But looking back, I wish that I had diversified a little bit more and not just focus on Jerry and his style, because at the end of the day, there's only one Jerry. So as much and as hard as I try to be like him, I'm never going to be Jerry Gahonis. I'm only ever going to be Andrew Hellmich. So it took a long time. It took, a long years and years before I actually realized that, which sounds silly, but I don't begrudge the fact that I still took that path, because it did get me to where I am today.
So what I hear you saying is that the sooner you can develop your own style and go within and find your own passion in your own way, the more you will stand out as that unique creative person, and your business will have the foundation that really fits you. And
Well,
at the same time that it is wise to learn from others and see what they do, and you know but eventually, sooner rather than later, be your own person.
yes and no. So for me, I never thought of myself as a creative. I wasn't a born photographer. I'm not naturally artistic, but I'm very good I'm very good at learning and emulating and following along, and then interpreting what I see, and being able to create something similar myself. So I could see another photographer's work in a magazine, in a book, on YouTube, on a website, at a workshop, and I could take something from that and go and implement that and use it in my business. I'm very good at doing that. It took a long time for me to trust myself to shoot the way that I wanted to shoot.
Right.
But I don't think you need to be, well, I'm proof. You don't need to be artistic, creative. You don't need to have this vision. You don't need to have your own style to be successful in business. Because I found my clients just wanted great photography. They didn't know Jerry Gahonis. They didn't know Vant. They didn't know Sue Bryce. When I was coming through the ranks, they
Mhm.
just wanted great photography. So if my photos looked like theirs, the client doesn't know that. So it's my marketing, it's my images, whether they've been inspired by someone else or not, that the client wants and that they're happy to pay for. So yeah, to me, success in business as a photographer is more about business and marketing than the photography, or being the photographer that stands out amongst the crowd in regards to having your own style. I don't
Right.
think that's imperative to be successful at business.
So it's not that you need to have unique photography, that it's more important to have very good business skills, good marketing, good salesmanship, clear branding that is attractive and identifies you as whatever level, high end, medium end, volume photographer. Doing that is more important than the work being award winning.
To be successful in business, yes. I think as a photographer now, and potentially for the listener, the holy grail is to have a body of work that stands on its own and is recognizable as your own work. So that, these are the superstars in the photography industry that, when we see their work, we recognize it. Yes, we all want to be like that. But do you need to be that or like that to be successful in business? No. That's when it's more about, like you said, the marketing, the advertising, the branding, and being a competent photographer.
Right.
That's all you need to be successful in business. Now, that might not be enough for some photographers. I got in this because I love photography, but I also knew that I wanted to make a living from it from the start. So I was all about the business side. Linda, my wife, we worked together. She looks after the accounts. She knew how many weddings we had to book, how much profit we had to make. She knew how many portrait sessions needed to come in a week for us to pay our mortgage. And so she was always encouraging, but it was often about the numbers. Yes, it's about the work, but we had to bring in the income. Otherwise, I couldn't continue to do it.
Right. Yes, this is not a hobby. And it's if it is a hobby, it's a lot of hard work as a hobby for a wedding photographer, particularly. So, yeah, I really love you sharing that. I think my listeners will appreciate what you're saying. I think newer people are often insecure that somehow they have to be doing a level of work that is beyond. And what you said, I love it, that people just want good photographs. And I would add that we're selling them back to themselves. So we have that ace in the hole that they're going to love it if it's of their child or their wife, and we do a nice job more than they might love, I don't know, some shoe we designed or something, because it's their life.
Yeah, yeah, true. And I'd take it a step further and say it's as much about the experience that we provide. So, when I go and photograph a wedding or a portrait, my focus is that my clients have the most amazing time or day, and that's what they remember. So even if my photos aren't, the world's best photos, if they remind the couple of the amazing day they had, or they remind the family of the experience they had at the beach, I'm home and hose as far as sales go, as far as happy clients go, as far as referrals go. So that's part of the way there to having a successful business.
Right. We are totally on the same page.
That's good.
Yeah. And I think for me, that was always the biggest joy when I did weddings, was knowing I created a great experience for them, that I was there for them 100% in other ways beyond being in the little behind the scenes taking pictures, but really supporting their entire day being awesome. Sounds like that's what you
also exactly do.
So, all right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. And I have heard this buzz over and over again about Andrew's system for Facebook ads. And so I'd love to know more about that. What is your formula? And also, some of the conversations I've had, people have been very, very successful, and some not as much. And I know that there's some strategies within there that make it work. So I'm going to be asking you, I'm going to dig a little once we get the formula for how to really make it work and to bring in the profit. So on your mark, get set, go.
Well, I think, Luci, that you're referring to the Facebook ads where we run an ad looking for a particular client and we're offering a free session with a free print, which is super successful. Like it works amazingly well. There are certainly other ways to use Facebook ads. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or if you're referring to the evergreen Facebook ads funnels that I also talk about, where we build likability and trust through a Facebook ad or ads, and then we go on to retarget to those people once we make a connection. I have a feeling you're talking about the first one. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I can't take all the credit for this, that is for sure. I got this from a photography business coach, Bernie Griffiths, who's based in Australia. He shared this idea with me back in episode 136, so I think 4 years ago or something now, and it still works as well today. And we've sort of refined the process. Members, Photobizx members, and I've used it myself multiple times, and it works amazingly well. And to answer your question, and to give the listener a bit of an idea of what it is, you are very specific about the person that you're targeting. You run an ad on Facebook talking to that specific person, and you are offering them a free session and a free print or a print credit. And you're offering a limited number of those sessions for a limited time. And then from there, you would take that person to a questionnaire or to a messenger bot or to a phone call, and you weed out the freebie hunters. You're really looking for your ideal client, because you're going to get a lot of people that apply or show interest that aren't necessarily your ideal client. You weed out the best ones and you offer them the free session and print, and then go on to make larger sales. That's the idea. So the premise of the strategy or the tactic is to generate leads, bookings, and then sales from your ideal clients.
Okay. So how do you weed out the freebie seekers?
So there's a couple of ways to do that. So the easiest way is to take people from Facebook to a questionnaire. So let's stay with the wedding photography example. If I know that I am not available certain days.
Can we do portraits?
Sure. Okay, let's portraits. Okay, so let's say I'm a family portrait photographer. It's advertising to attract families is one of the most difficult things. So if anyone's going to try this in the beginning or start out with Facebook ads, it's much easier to target. You're looking to photograph kids or pets rather than whole families, because it's anyone that shot portraits knows it's more difficult to get a family to a session. It's much easier to get, say, mum and the kids or a pet to photograph. So you would be very specific. Let me refine this even more. Let's say, and we can use my first ad as an example. I advertised for kids between 4 and 8 with their pet dog. I think that was the ad that I ran. So I was very specific about my target audience. And from there, you would take someone who shows interest. So a mother that has a child between 4 to 8 and a pet dog, we would take them to a questionnaire and would ask them a few questions. Or we could take them into a messenger bot sequence. So that's an automated sequence through Facebook Messenger. Or we could go straight to a phone call. So we could send them a PM and ask them their phone number. And you want to have a conversation, whether online or in person, on the phone with the client, with a potential client, finding out, learning if they are really your ideal client and if they are interested in spending more after that session. So you would talk about the kids, the experience, the photos they're looking for. I would let them know what my average client, what my clients would spend on average once they see their photos. So even though they're coming in for a free session, I would explain that when most families come in to see the photos, they fall in love with what they've seen, and they usually end up spending around $1,000. Is that something you're comfortable with? You know, if I get a like, whoa, no, I'm just after the shoot and the free print, that person is not going to be getting that free shoot. And the way I would get around that is I would continue the conversation for a little bit more, and then I'll say, look, I've had so many entries and inquiries. I've got you on my shortlist. I'm going to come back to you if you get selected for one of the 5 free sessions. And obviously that person's not going to be selected because they've told me they're only after the free shoot.
So that is probably one of those keys that people that I have chatted with about this and my not knowing the full system that have said, well, it didn't work for me, is that they probably did not pre-qualify.
That's the biggest thing, Lucy. I mean, if you don't pre-qualify, you are setting yourself up for failure with any kind of giveaway, whether it's third-party marketing, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's an auction, a charity auction, a giveaway, a book project, anything. So many of us portrait photographers rely on giving away a session and then making sales in the back end. But if you don't pre-qualify, you are setting yourself up for failure and discouragement and a lot of sad times.
So I know of somebody that did exactly that, did an event, and it was not a qualified event. It was one of those where anybody and anybody could come, did a drawing and free sessions, and she was so frustrated that she ended up deciding to quit. And that is not what we want. She was trying to build something new, a new division, and she had, people that didn't value it, people that treated her badly, and in my estimation, it was because it was not targeted to the right clients. And the pre-qualifying question, not sure how she handled that, but yes, I totally agree. So how would you pre-qualify, let's say, a charity event? You were doing...
Well, it depends on the charity events. So if you're auctioning off, say, a portrait session and a large print, for example, which we have done in the past, then you want to make sure that you're aligning yourself with the right events. Where people that are attending that event have had to pay to go to the event, that that there's a good chance that they have a good income, an expendable income, that they're from an area or a socio-economic region where it's likely they're going to be a good client.
Right. So tell me more about our, I guess, Bernie style ad. I've heard it called that, but I call it the Andy style ad. So what else is important in there?
Starting from the top, the headline is the most important thing. Well, I guess that's equally as important as the photo or the video to catch someone's attention. So you need a photo or a video inside or as part of your ad to stop people scrolling in their feed. Because if they don't stop and read your ad, then you failed even before you started. So, whether it's a black and white image, whether it's got something funny, whether it's striking, whether it's vibrant in color, it's got to have something about it to stop your ideal target client in their feed. They need to stop and read your ad, and usually it's an image that's going to stop them. Once they stop, then it's all about the headline. And that headline has to be very clear about who you are looking to attract. And the more specific you can be, the better it is. Like I said, I was targeting kids aged between 4 and 8 with their pet dog. And ideally, you want to be pushing away, repelling anyone that doesn't fit your ideal target audience for this specific ad. And this is one thing where photographers are so scared to do. We're so scared to not try to appeal to everyone, where it just doesn't work. The more specific you can be, the more effective your ad will be.
Right. How do you get over that fear?
Test it, try it. So if be hyper specific in one of your ads and see what kind of results you get. I mean, advertising on Facebook is so cheap. It's so accessible. You run your ad for 4 to 7 days, let's say 7 days. If it doesn't work, well, that's it. You stop it. You run another one. Run with a new headline. Be more specific. Change your photo, and go again.
Yeah, I used to spend $1,000 a month advertising in the Yellow Pages and a parent magazine. And it actually got me work. The sad thing is then I didn't force myself to be a better marketer. So it held me back some from the potential at the time. But yeah, print ads, very expensive. Facebook ads, how much could I get for $1,000 a month on Facebook ads? A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Okay. Any other, questionnaire or a phone call or a Facebook Messenger bot once they reply.
Yes, that's more advanced. So really the first thing is get your photo sorted out, get your headline hyper specific, and be very clear about who you're after. So let people know who you are after. Then you need to have a reason on why you're giving away these free sessions. So, and the idea here is to be 100% transparent. Be honest. Are you looking to add to your portfolio? Do you want to try some new locations? Do you want to test some new techniques? Have you got some new camera gear you want to try? Do you want to add to your existing portfolio? Are you looking to move into a new genre? Be truthful. But have a reason why you're giving away these free shoots.
Okay. And then keep it simple. Kids or pets, or kids with pets, or
yeah, but even more specific. So, tell me the age of the kids that you're looking for. Tell me exactly what breed of dog you're looking for. Large dogs, small dogs, schnauzers, Great Danes. Like when I say be specific, I really mean be specific. It sounds ridiculous and it sounds scary, but that's the way these ads work.
So my favorite 2 ages of children to photograph are 8 to 9 month old and 4 to 5. So that's a great way to just always get to photograph the easy.
Yeah.
Those are what I call the sit and stays. Those
yes.
8 to 10 months. 6 months they're not solid enough. At 1 year they get independent, but that sit and stay age is so much fun. And then the 4 to 5 year old, when they're in the land of enchantment, while they still have their teeth. So, maybe I'll try one of those with both of those ages. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, so a headline for you, Lucy, would be wanted kids aged between, did you say 8 to 10 months, who are sitting up, not yet walking, have great personality, beautiful big eyes, and love to get up to mischief. Something like that. So you are speaking to the mother of that child.
I like it. So I know this is a much longer conversation about then how to turn this into good sales. Is there a couple things you can say about, once they're pre-qualified, you do an amazing session, what kind of suggestions do you have in
Well,
regards?
I guess it really comes back to the photographer that's putting this into action. So I know that you're all about IPS.
Yeah.
Look, this works equally effectively for a photographer that does online sales of digital files.
Okay.
So it's really up to the photographer. So for me personally, when I run these ads, I talk about the process. So I talk about, and I'm focusing on the session at this stage. We also talk about what they're looking to get from the photos. Is it something for the wall? Were you thinking of an album? And these are all little things I can drop in to find out if there's any warning signs. If the person on the phone then says, "Oh no, we're just after the free shoot," then bang, that's them out of the system. I'm going to be cutting them away, and I won't be photographing them. But if they tell me, "Yeah, we'd love to get something for the dining room. We have an old family photo we need to update. We haven't had something like this done in the last 4 years. The kids have grown up so much." Like, this is all sounding very, very good. I'll talk about the process and what happens after the shoot. So we'll get you back into the studio. We'll show you all the photos. So I'll say to Neil, who's our studio assistant, she does all our sales. Neil will take you through a slideshow of all the photos that I've taken on the day. And then you'll be able to pick your free print or use your credit. And then we'll work with you, or Tennille will, to find something for your home. And you can obviously spend as much or as little as you want. But in our experience, when families see their photos, they fall in love with them. And on average, they spend $1,000 or more.
So you said your credit. Do you collect any deposit or
So
anything, reservation
I
deposit?
don't, but that's a really good point, because some photographers that use this tactic have had a lot of no-shows, people just not turning up to shoots. I don't face that same trouble in my area, but what we do is, once we confirm the shoot location and time and date, is we will send an email confirming that, and then we also send an SMS the day before to confirm the shoot, the
What's an
location and the time, and we ask for a reply. They have to reply yes to that SMS. If
what's
they don't reply, sorry,
SMS?
text message.
Okay.
Sorry, text message. And if they don't reply, we'll follow up with another text message. Because if we don't get an answer to that text message, I'm not showing up on location for the shoot. And we have associate shooters as well. So we pay them to turn up to a shoot, whether or not the client does. So I don't want to pay them and send them to a shoot when the client doesn't turn up. So the client must respond to that text message for us to turn up on location.
Okay. So I find because I give certificates and other complimentary sessions are a big way that I get business as well. And part of my pre-qualifying is to ask for a refundable deposit. And if they're not willing or able to do that, oh, I need to borrow it from my mother, or, states they're not comfortable with that, then I know also that they are most likely not my ideal clients, because my ideal clients go, oh, sure, I understand. And that is refundable when they come to see and select their gift portrait. Because I also have people who, show up for the session, but then they never come in and see the work. So they have to do that. And then if they want it, I say I will cheerfully refund it if they want their gift print, no pressure. So for me, that's one of the pre-qualifying activities that I do. So just a little.
There's a bunch of listeners who are using these tactics to do the same thing. So they've had no shows, so they'll charge a $50 fee that can be applied as a credit to any purchases. Some photographers that I know, they do that just for weekend shoots, because that's the busy day. That's the day they really want to be booking out, particularly if it's a Saturday. They take a booking fee, refundable booking fee, on a Saturday session, but not the weekday. So it depends on the photographer.
Right. And I like to do it just high enough that people who really have zero extra income would be a little uncomfortable parting with $100 or $200. Seems to work for me, but
yeah, good idea.
We try everything and see what works.
Absolutely.
So is there any other missing component to that?
Yes, there is a couple. So you've got your reason. So you also need to add some scarcity. So you would say that you're only offering 5 sessions. Five seems to be the magic number.
Okay.
And what happens is if you do this correctly, you'll generally get a lot more inquiries than 5. So you get to pick and choose. And of course, you can give away more than 5 sessions. I did 23 shoots from the first time I did this ad for the kids and the pet dog. So even though I was only offering 5 sessions, I booked 23 sessions from that ad.
So within the Facebook ads, I assume you can target certain neighborhoods. You know,
Yes.
get people from Cleveland, Ohio seeing your posts. So is that tricky?
No. So what you would do is you create your ad onto your Facebook page, so it appears on your timeline on your business page, and then you go into Ads Manager and you create an ad from that post. And you can be very specific with Facebook in regards to location targeting, gender, age group, whether or not they've got kids, what their interests are. But in my experience, it's better not to be too specific and too strategic with your targeting inside Facebook, and let the ad copy do the heavy lifting. So let your ad stand on its own, go out to a slightly wider audience than what you might normally do when you're running Facebook ads, and let the ad do the work.
Okay. So I think you had one other key component.
Yes. So you have your hook, your first hook, which is scarcity, the 5 sessions. And you also want to have a second hook, which is an incentive. And that incentive is you need to say that these shoots are free, and that it includes a complimentary print, or it could be a print credit. But you want to be very clear what the client gets, or the potential client gets.
Okay.
And then following that, you need to have a link to your questionnaire. I mean, the beauty of Facebook ads now is once someone comments, so you can ask for comments as well, but you have to be careful how you do that. But if someone comments on your ad, you can then PM them, and then you can take the conversation further, whether that's to email, to a phone call, send them to a questionnaire, initiate a messenger bot. So it depends how advanced you want to get with your follow-up strategy. But that's really the crux of it.
Yeah. Do you have a program that people can buy or go to or read?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a Facebook ads course, but I would suggest if someone is brand new to Facebook ads, if they listen to episode 136 of the podcast, so that's photobizx.com/136, they can listen to the very first interview I did on this, where I created my ad on the fly in the interview, and that's the one I booked 23 shoots from. From there, if they want to purchase a course, there's a course available. But you don't need to spend money straight away to get started with something like this and put it to the test.
Okay. But I'm a firm believer that you want all the details, because one missed part of the program and the whole thing will be an exercise in frustration. Yes.
Exactly. That's true. So I think what we talked about, Lucy, was giving your listeners a copy of my book on third-party marketing. But seeing we're talking so much about Facebook ads, I've got a Facebook ad promo cheat sheet. So I might make that available to your listeners instead. That might be a better option.
Okay. How would they get that?
Let's go. How about if they go to photobizx.com/cheat sheet.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic.
We're making this up on the fly, but I'll make that happen.
I like it. Okay. The evergreen Facebook ad funnels. Can you introduce that idea to my listeners?
We can touch on that if you want to.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So the Facebook ads funnels is a different approach to using Facebook ads. And this one's a little bit scary for some photographers, but it's all about building likability and trust. So the easiest way to do this, which is also the scariest, is to start recording Facebook Lives and sharing your best tips. The best advice, the best tips, the best information that you normally give your clients. So share that through Facebook Lives. If the idea of a Facebook Live really, really scares you, you can record a video and upload it to Facebook. But you want to get some video out there because it's quick and easy to share what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking to your ideal clients, again, with this information. So, and then the next stage or next part is if someone interacts or resonates or connects with the content that you're sharing, they will watch those videos. From there, you build an audience based on the people who watch or interact with your video, or which can become your ad as well. And then you go on to retarget them. So you go on to serve additional ads where you build more likability, more trust, create offers, and stay in front of them. So you're basically following them around the internet or Facebook. So your name keeps coming up, keeps popping up. And the idea is that they book you.
How do you follow them around?
That's by having the Facebook pixel installed on your website, and also through retargeting. So let's say I record a Facebook Live sharing the best wet weather locations in Terrigal, so where I live, for couples getting married in the local area. So that would be some really good advice that I would normally only share with my clients. But I'm going to put that out there on a Facebook Live. And I don't expect a lot of people to be watching that video while I record it, but it's all done in 3 to 4 minutes. Once I've done that, I can then turn that Facebook Live into an ad and send that ad out to all engaged couples in my local area. So let's say now one of the girls who lives local, an engaged girl who lives local, watches that video. If she watches a percentage or a part of the video or all of it, then I can build an audience based on her viewing habits. So the fact that she watched or engaged with my video, she gets added to an audience. And now I can create new ads, a series of ads that she will see. And I can set that to go out to her over the next 14 days, 30 days, while I know that she's actively looking for a photographer. So she's going to see impact images, my face, my photos, testimonials about me and my business, showing up in her Facebook feed over the next 30 days.
Like I'm going to be seeing gold geometric blankets for the next 30 days because I was searching for those. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So, you go to Amazon, you look at a pair of shoes or a book or something. Next thing you're seeing ads for those shoes or books for the next week.
So this is a program called Facebook Pixel that you can install?
If you have a Facebook ads account, you can download the Pixel code. So this is available for free to anyone. And this is the simplest way to do this, or to experiment with this, would be to install the Pixel onto your website. And if you have a WordPress website, you can use a plugin. You can speak to your web developer. If you have a Squarespace site, there's an area to add your Pixel code there. And then once you have the Pixel installed on your website, if you go into your ads manager in Facebook, there's an area in there for building or creating audiences, custom audiences. And you can create an audience based on the people who visit your website. And then I can create ads that only go to those people. So for you, Luci, let's say someone comes to your portrait pricing page, that they're pretty serious. They've had a look around your website. If you do have a portrait pricing page, what you can do is, now that they've been to your website, you have the Pixel installed, that person has been tagged, you can now serve that person a series of ads over the coming weeks or months, all because they came to your website.
Wow.
It's really, really simple.
Wow. Andrew, I've been taking notes. I'm going to listen to my podcast again and take more notes, because this is some juicy, practical, good, usable information. So
good. One little tip with that, Luci, for you or for the listener who wants to give this a try, is when you're setting up your retargeting ads. So this is ads going out to people that have been to your website based on the audience that you've created because of website visitors. You don't want to target people that have only visited your homepage.
Okay.
Because there's a good chance someone's been to your homepage. You weren't the right photographer for them, or maybe it was not what they were looking for. So they go back to Google, and it wouldn't make any sense to serve that person ads, because when they got to your website, they realized it wasn't the right thing for them. So they've left. We don't want to spend money sending them ads. Okay. So if they've come to your website and then gone to your gallery or your pricing page or an information page or your contact page, that's a different story. We know they're interested. We want to follow up with them. We want to serve them additional ads.
Do you do this with your podcast?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
Well, of course you should.
Absolutely. So if someone's been to my, say, membership trial page, which is the dollar membership, I know that they're interested. So they're going to see follow-up ads from me, and they're going to be video ads talking a little bit more about the membership.
Right.
But they're also, if they sign up and become a member, they're not going to see those ads because I can also create an audience of people to exclude. So I know if someone's booked me as their photographer, I don't want to be sending them special prices or special offers because they've already booked me.
Right.
So they won't see those ads.
Got it. Brilliant. Awesome. So I love to ask my guests to define either profitability or success. So can you pick one and share your...
Success is interesting, I reckon. And what do you want me to do? Define success?
Yes, and possibly not just about money in the bank.
Oh yeah, well, it's absolutely that was definitely not going to be my answer because to me, it's life is about so much more than money, and so is success. So for me, success is being able to live the lifestyle that I want. So that's all the things you mentioned in that intro was, being able to send my kids to a good school, to being able to pay off my house, to go on holidays as often as I can or want to live and lead a great life. That's success.
So you would consider yourself successful, I'm hearing.
Hugely.
Yes.
I don't have, the only boss I have is Linda.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to go to France to go and watch the Tour de France.
Ooh.
And then Linda's going to come and join me. We're going to spend some time in Europe. That's success.
Life is good. So I had posted on the Photobizx a question of what people would like me to ask you.
Uh-oh.
And one that I liked was, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Oh, goodness. The best advice. Wow. I think in general terms, if we're not talking purely about business, it's to treat other people as you'd like to be treated. And look, I apply that to my business and I try and live by that. And I think if I can do that, then yeah, I can't go too far wrong.
Great. I agree with that. So how can we get in touch with you, Andrew?
The easiest place to find me and the podcasts and anything we've talked about today is over at photobizx.com. So it's PHOTOBIZX, which stands for Photography Business Exposed. So photobizx.com. And there you'll find links to the podcast, interviews with people like you, Lucy, who shared some amazing stuff, Facebook ads. Yeah, it's all there.
And so your special offer again, they go to
photobizx.com/cheat sheet.
Fantastic.
And if they go there, they'll be able to add their email address and I'll be able to email them a PDF, which is the cheat sheet for the Facebook ads if they want to give this a go. Awesome. And try it out for themselves.
So Andrew, thank you so much. I have loved this conversation and I know my listeners have as well. To summarize a few things that I've learned is that the Facebook ads can be wonderful ways to get some quick start, quick income, grow your business. It's important to be specific. It's important to pre-qualify your leads in several ways. You need a great title. You need a catchy photograph, and so much more. And then the Facebook ad funnels, that was very enlightening to me to understand why I'm going to see those gold geometric blankets for a while, is that was all set up potentially through Facebook. And then the wedding conversation, love knowing that we've been on the same page with that and how we both love providing a great experience and having those relationships and the challenge and the joy of creating wonderful photographs. I would say under fire because weddings are so boom, boom. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I know that my listeners are actually going to listen to this more than once with a pad and paper. If they don't, I highly recommend it. And I would love to hear from you, dear audience, with questions or comments. Remember that I have a group program starting in September. And if you want more info on that, just send me an email and I can send you a link for a quick conversation. Thank you all, and thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Lucy. It's been a pleasure.
You have been listening to The Highly Profitable Photographer with Luci Dumas. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please rate, subscribe, review, and share. To connect one-on-one and learn more about our coaching programs, just go to lucidumascoaching.com. Until next time, go have fun photographing and selling your work.